Shabbat Shalom, everybody, and happy Hanukkah. Welcome to Pasadena Jewish Temple and Center. Whether you're coming in on YouTube, on Facebook, on Zoom, on StreamSpot, wherever you're coming from, you are in the right place, and we're delighted that you're celebrating this holiday and this Shabbat with us. In just a moment, we're going to say the blessings over all the candles we have lit behind Cantor Ruth, but first, we're going to start with our customary song, welcoming in these angels that are escorting us through this experience of Shabbat. And for the next, 45 minutes or so, it's going to be our honor to escort you through this experience of Shabbat. So with that, let's go ahead to go to Shalom Aleichem on page 13, page 13. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon.
Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu V'chem leShalom Malachei HaShalom Malachei Elyon Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Baruch Shalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Amlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zechem leShalom, Malachei Shalom, Malachei Elyon.
It's now our custom to say the blessing for the candles, and because it's dark, the candles are already lit, but Cantor Ruth's going to give the blessings just the same, and we're going to start with the Hanukkah candles and then go on to the Shabbat candles.
So if you have your Chanukiah lit already, or you, if not, just join us as we say the blessings. The first one will be Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehavlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שעשה ניסים לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. And for the Shabbat candles, ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת. Shabbat Shalom, Chag Urim Sameach, Happy Hanukkah.
With that, we're going to get into our Kabbalat Shabbat service. I'm going to be calling some page numbers, and it's out of this book right here, the Sim Shalom for Shabbat and Festivals. If you're on Zoom and you don't have this book and you'd like it, we have it available for download in the chat. or just sing along as best you can. And if you don't know the words, it's okay to hum. And as I always like to ask my students, why does the hummingbird hum? Because he doesn't know the words. But you can know the words in this Siddur. In any case, even if you're muted, even if you think we can't hear you, please sing. We know you're there. We're going to start with Lechuna Ranana on page 15.
Naria לצור אישנו נקדמה פניו בתודעם בזמירות נריע לו כי אל גדול אדוני ומלך גדול על כל أربعين שנה أكون לדור ואומר עם תוהה לבבם והם לא ידעו דרך חי אשר נשבעתי רבי אם יבואון אל מנוחתי. Together. שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני, כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני, ברכו שמו, מסרו מיום ליום, ישועתו ספרו בגויים, כבודו לכל העמים, נפלאותיו גדול אדוני.
The following page on 17 and 18 and 19, we have a few psalms that were selected by the Kabbalists of Sfat to help us welcome in the Shabbat. And each psalm is like a rung on a ladder. That is, we're starting from this the mundane level of the work week, and we're working our way into Shabbat. So I invite you to take a few moments to look through these psalms as Cantor intones some of the words, and see if there's something in here that you needed to hear this week, whether it's a particular theme or a sentence or even a single word that you needed to hear. And we'll be back together for Lahadodi in just a few moments.
לפני אדוני קיווה לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט אבל וצדק, וימים ומישרים ואמונתו. אדוני מלך תגל הארץ, ישמחו עם רבים. Page 17. אור זרוע לצדיק, ולישרי לב שמחה. שמחו צדיקים באדוני, והודו לזכר קודשו. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש. Sing Adonai a new song, for God has done wonders. Page 18. זמרו לאדוני בכינור, בכינור בקול זמרה, בחצוצרות בקול שופר. הריעו לפני המלך אדוני, רמיים, ירמיים ומלואם. תבל ויושבי ונערות ימחאו כף, יחדיו הרים ירננו. לפני אדוני קיווה לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק, וימים מישרים. אדוני מלך ירגזו עמו.
On page 19, page 19.
רוממו אדוני אלוהינו, וישתחו להר קודשו, כי כתבוש אדוני אלוהינו.
If you'll join us on page 21, in addition to the Psalms of Kabbalat Shabbat, the sages of Tzfat composed this song for us, Lacha Dodi, as a way of welcoming in Shabbat, this moment of Advent, this moment of Shabbat entering our presence. And we regard Shabbat as a dignitary or an honored guest, but not one that's so transcendent and distant that we can't enjoy Shabbat's company, but an intimate relation, if you will. That's why this song is called Lacha Dodi, Come My Beloved. And we sing it together on page 21, page 21.
לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה, וראש מקדם נשוכה, סוף מעשה ומחשבה תחילה, אוי לך דודי לי קקלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, מי שבת נקבלה, אוי לך דודי לי קקלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, מי שבת נקבלה, מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה, קומי צאי מתוך ההפכה, רמלת שבט בעמק הבכה, והוא יחמול עלייך חמלה, התנערי מעפר קומי, לבשי בגדי תפארת תחמי, על יד מנישי בית הלחמי, קורבה לנפשי גאה, אוי לך דודי לי קרקלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, בני שבת נקבלה, אוי לך דודי לי קרקלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, בני שבת נקבלה, התעוררי התעוררי, יברך קומי אותי, אורי אורי שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך ניבא, אוי לך דודי לי קקלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, בני שבת נקבלה, אוי לך דודי לי קקלה, יאללה יאללה יאללה, בני שבת נקבלה, אוי לך דודי לי קקלה, שבת נקבלה, לך דודי לי קקלה, שבת נקבלה, לא תבושי ולא תקלמי, ומה תשתוכחי ומה תהמי, בך יכנסו אני הימי ונבנתה, ירדתי היו לי שיסה, שועזייך ורחקו כל ובלייך, יסיס עלייך אלוהייך, כמסוס חתן על כלה, אוי לך דודי לי קקלה, שבת שבת נקבלה, ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני פריצי, על יד איש בן פרצי, ואני שמחה ונגדיל עליך דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לקראת דודי לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, אוי ושלום גאולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה לקראת דודי, לקראת קרלה, פני שבת אקבלה לקראת דודי, לקראת קרלה, פני שבת, פני שבת, לקבלה לקראת דודי, לקראת קרלה, פני שבת, נקבלה לקראת דודי, לקראת קרלה, פני שבת, פני שבת, נקבלה.
If you're standing, you may be seated. We're going to continue with a special psalm just for Shabbat. Mizmor Shir Le'Yom HaShabbat on page 23. Page 23.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. Together. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות, עלי אסור ועלי נבל, עלי גיון וכינור. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שמחת אדוני בפועלך, במעשה ידך, במעשה ידך שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. בגדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך, ובגדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. יא אליי, יא אליי, יא אליי, יא אליי, יא אליי, יא אליי, מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון, לזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. And if you're just joining us, thank you for joining us at PJTC. That stands for Pasadena Jewish Temple and Center. And wherever you're coming from, you are more than welcome. I just want to wish everybody, in addition to a Shabbat Shalom, a happy Hanukkah. I'm having a good Hanukkah so far. I don't know about you. Tonight, I got a phone charger and socks. And that may not seem exciting to you, but you just don't know how often I lose my phone charger and how fast I go through socks. So I'm pleased, definitely. It's a great time of year as it's getting darker to be adding more and more light. It is, one can look around and see a universal impulse to have a festival of light as the world is getting darker. At least in the northern hemisphere, there's all sorts of traditions, and it's said even Adam Harishon, the first person, there is a midrash talking about Adam Harishon that says when he, first came into the world, he thought everything was great. And then it started getting dark on that first day, and he freaked out a little bit. He says, "Oh, goodness gracious. I hope it's not because of that apple." And he put a couple of rocks together and made some flames and lit some Shabbat candles, as they say. And then he said, and then the sun came up and he says, "Okay, I'll be fine." And then over the course of a few months, the days got shorter and shorter, and the nights got darker and darker. And it's said that Adam Rishon fasted for 8 days because he thought the world was coming to an end. And at the end of this 8-day fast, he noticed that the days were getting longer and longer. And so all of his progeny, it would seem, have some sort of way to mark this time of year. But Jews forgot about that until we had the occasion to mark it for Hanukkah. And it is important to increase the light when the world seems to be getting darker. And the days are darker, to be sure. They certainly this week feel darker. But tonight, I want to tell you, don't be like Adam Harishon. Don't be afraid of the dark. Instead, I want to invite you to use the dark to dream. There is a man that we read about in this week's Torah portion named Yosef. And Yosef was a dreamer by all accounts. And he used to dream big. He dreamed of his entire family bowing down to him. And he made the indiscretion of telling everybody about his dreams. Sometimes when you tell everybody about your dreams, it goes well, but sometimes it doesn't. And his brothers, who didn't like the sound of his dreams or the fact that he was a bit of a snitch, threw him into a pit, threw him into the darkness. And they said, "There you go, dream boy. Have some darkness and dream your dreams there." And for him, it kept getting darker and darker. From alienation from his family, he was sold into slavery. And from an injustice in his master's house, he was thrown into prison. It kept getting darker and darker, and he kept getting lower and lower. And when it gets darker, it's easy to forget your big dreams. But the difference with our friend Yosef was that he was open to dreaming, not just his own dreams, but the dreams of other people. And while he was in prison, he heard the dreams of a couple of his cellmates, and they thought they were better than him. They were prisoners, sure, but they were court prisoners, not slave prisoners. But he said, "Oh, let me see what I could do. I'll tell you what I think these are." And as his openness helped others' dreams come true, one for ill, but one came out pretty good. And he was there, not to spoil it for next week's Torah portion, but he was there to tell Pharaoh, "I know this guy who knows something about dreams, no matter how dark it is." And from getting lower and lower and lower, he ascended into the presence of the king. And then he ascended into the control of an empire. And by being open to dreams, he saved not only himself, but eventually his family, including us. Though it gets darker and darker and darker, do not fear the dark, but open yourself to use it to dream. And the fact is, Joseph's dreams came true. Eventually, everybody did bow down to him. And that was his dream way back when. What was your dream way back when? What was your dream before it started getting dark? What, if I can ask, was your dream in January or February or early March? I'll tell you mine. This time last year, I was going to a retreat in New York City. Very crowded place, a lot of people packed close together. And we were learning how to sing, not just how to sing, but how to get other people close together to sing together in the same room. And Cantor Ruth insisted that I go while she was on sabbatical so I could learn all about singing and that my voice could be better. And by the way, I'll say I'm very grateful to be back singing the bass line this week. But so that I would learn how to bring people together in song. And when she came back from sabbatical, I would tell her all about what I learned. And as soon as she got back, she says, yes, I'm glad to be back and learn about all this singing stuff. I just want you to let you know what I saw in Israel in early March. And I think things might get dark. And to a person, we all said, are you sure? I don't know about that. But it's gotten darker. And it's gotten darker. But what can it tell you? Well, instead, let me ask you. Hold what you were dreaming in January, February, March. Has this time allowed you to dream bigger? Have you learned more about yourself? Have you learned more about what you value, maybe by its absence? Have you used this time to dream? Maybe that's an unfair request, but I will say we have some time to go. And as of a recommendation by the FDA, I believe this afternoon, things will get brighter, God willing, before too long. So before we wrap up tonight, even as the lights glimmer at the other end of this building, even as your lights glimmer in your own home and they glimmer brighter tomorrow and the tomorrow after that. Even though the days are still getting shorter and will for a few days longer, we only have so much darkness left. So I'll ask you, what will you use it to dream? Shabbat Shalom, and thanks for being with us at PJTC.
Shabbat Shalom.
We continue with our evening prayer service, starting with the Baruch Hu on page 28. Page 28, if you're able, please rise.
ברכו את אדוני המבורך.
Baruch Adonai Amborach Leolam Vaed.
ברוך אדוני מבורך לעולם ועד.
Baruch Adonai
ברוך אתה אדוני מלך ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני,
Baruch Shemo.
המעריב הרביב.
Amen. If you join us on page 29, we continue with Ahavat Olam, blessing God for the constancy of God's love.
You can sit down if you're standing. אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך אהבת עמך אהבת תורה ומצוות חוקים ומשפטים אותנו לימדת אותנו לימדת על כן אדוני אלוהינו ושוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח לדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה נהגה יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל אוהב עמו ישראל We continue with Ve'ahavta, page 30.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
Correct. We continue at our own pace at the middle of page 30, and we'll get back together in just a moment. Let's join together at the top of page 31. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Yisrael, ve'amarta alehem, v'asu lahem tzitzit, al kanfei vigdeihem ledorotam, ve'nadnu al tzitzit hakanaf, petil techelet, ve'haya lachem, letzitzit, uritem oto, uschartem, et kol mitzvot Adonai vasitem otam velo taturu acharei levavchem ve'acharei nechem asher atem zonim acharechem leman tizkeru vasitem et kol mitzvotai vitem kedoshim lelochechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני
אדוני אלוהיכם.
אדוני אלוהיכם אמן. We continue on page 32, page 32.
מלכות ורצון קיבלו עליהם משה שמחה רבה ואמרו כולם. Let's continue together in the middle of page 32 with מי כמוך.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף פלא, נורא תהילות אוסף פלא. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדע בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף פלא, נורא תהילות אוסף פלא.
מלכות אחר אהובניך, ובוקע הים לפני משה ומרים. זה לי, ענו ואמרו,
אדוני ימלוך, אדוני ימלוך, לעולם ועד.
ונאמר כי אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו ביד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברוך ברוך שמו,
על ישראל.
Amen. We continue on page 33. Page 33, help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace and awaken us again, our sovereign, to life. Hashkivenu on page 33. Please sing with us. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu leshalom, ve'hamidenu malkeinu lechaim.
ושמור את צאתנו, ואוהלינו, לחיים ולשלום, ואתה ועד עולם. השכיבנו אדוני, אלוהינו לשלום, לעמידנו, מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני, אלוהינו לשלום, לעמידנו, שומרנו ברוך אתה אדוני,
Baruch Shemo.
הפורס סוכת שלום עלינו, ועל כל עמו ישראל, ועל ירושלים.
Amen. We continue on page 34, page 34.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביי 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 ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת וינחש. The middle of 34, Tova is going to lead us in the Hatzi Kaddish.
Ikaja veikaja shemei rabba.
Amen.
Ve'almadi brakirche, ve'amlich malchuche, ve'chayechon v'yom echon, v'chayedechon beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, u'bizman kariv, ve'meru.
Amen. Yehesh me Rabba mevorach leolam olol me'almaya yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitajar v'yitaleh v'yitalel shemei dekudesha
Brichu.
Eila min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata tamiran be'alma v'meru.
Amen. Please rise for the Amidah for Shabbat evening. This is a private Amidah, so we'll start together, but you can pray your own prayer at your own pace. You can use the words of our tradition on page 35b to start with. And if you want to add any words of your own, whatever your prayer is tonight, this is the time to do it. So take some moments for private prayer, and we'll get back together in just a little bit.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי וגואלי אמן. עושה שלום, שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, אמן, אמן. עושה שלום, שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. ועל כל ישראל
Tova is going to conclude this prayer with Kaddish Shalem on page 48. Page 48.
Yikadol v'yikadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Ve'amadi b'rakirte ve'amlich malchute. Ve'chayachon v'yom achon v'chay d'chol beit Yisrael. V'agalav isman kari ve'yimaru.
Amen. Yehi shmei Rabba mevorach. Leolam olam le'almaya yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yishbar v'yishramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitachar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudesha.
Brichu.
Le'ela min kol verchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Jamiran ve'ama ve'yimaru.
Amen.
Yikabal sotan avahotam decho Yisrael. Kodam avahon d'vishamaya ve'yimaru.
Amen.
Ve'esh samarabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'yimaru.
Amen.
Yaseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'yimaru.
Amen. Please rise as we begin to end our service with Aleinu on page 51. Page 51, please rise.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל,
לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
ועל כן נקבל לך אדוני אלוהינו לראות. כי המלכות שלך היא, וללמיה תמלוך בכבוד, ככתוב את תורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. This is a time in our service where we pause to remember with honor those who are no longer with us. In the coming week, we are marking the yahrzeit, and that is the anniversary of the passing of Arthur Slifkin, Basha Newman, Benjamin Lorber, Blanche Shapiro, Catherine Walter, Charles Meiselman, Dylan Joshua Curie, Elza Blaker, Esther Bloom, Genevieve Burton, Gerald Surface, Hannah Nissenbaum, Harry Cooper, Herbert Robinson, Howard Taus, Iris Brown, Isaac Furman, Jean Silverman, Jenny Gold, Jonathan Ellis, Josephine Constance Samuels, Julius J. Landau, Lenore Samuels, Lois Tankel Handler, Louis Edward Lamper, Martha Handon, Max Klein, Miriam Silverman, Maury Greenberg, Naftali Lizar Rosenzweig, Nathan Roth, Raymond Kievman, Ronnie Brewert, Rose Maslin, Sam Winograd, Samuel Fink, Samuel Rakelin, and Sarah Wilson. If there's another name that you would like to lift up in honor at this time, you can hold their name in your heart or say it out loud wherever you are. And if you're in mourning for anyone or observing a yahrzeit, I'll ask you to please rise and join me for the Kaddish Tome, the Mourner's Kaddish on page 52. Let's pray together, page 52. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah,
Amen.
Balma divra kirute v'yamlich malchute, b'chayechon uvyomechon, uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehe shmei rabba mevorach leolam ulamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shmei dekudsha brihu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehe shlama rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. If you're standing, you may be seated. And if you'll bear with me for just a moment for a few brief but meaningful announcements. Actually, they're not that brief, so I'm going to talk faster. Because if you haven't noticed, it is Hanukkah. And tomorrow night, tonight was the second night, tomorrow night is the third night of Hanukkah. And we have all sorts of wonderful Hanukkah events going on. We're going to try to, whoever's running the slideshow, try to keep up here because I've got a lot to talk about. Tomorrow night, we have at 5:30, Hanukkah in your pajamakas. That is a Havdalah and Hanukkah joint candle lighting, followed by Hanukkah Trivia Kahoot. I don't know if you've ever played Kahoot, but it is a riot. It's a thing that you could play over the internet on Zoom, and a Hanukkah-themed scavenger hunt. A scavenger hunt. That's sponsored by USY and Kadima, but it is for all ages. So that's Saturday. On Sunday, the fourth night of Hanukkah, we have a virtual escape room, Quest for the Lost Flame. This is a Hanukkah-themed online escape room. You can create your own team of 4 to 6 or join with others, including Rabbi Carrier. And I believe Rabbi Amy Gerasi is also involved. I'm not going to say it's a PJTC rabbinic face-off, but okay, so if you want to be a part of that, please join us. That's at 3:30. At 4 o'clock, the Jewish Federation continues with its book festival, and author Erica Pearl discussing her book, The Ninth Night of Hanukkah. Actually heard about that on the radio the other day. On Monday, the fifth night, at 4 o'clock, this is part of our 8 crazy nights. That's why we have something every single night of Hanukkah. At 4 o'clock, Nancy Carlton is going to introduce Spice Up Your Latke game. You can cook while Nancy cooks, or you can watch the recorded session later and try it on your own. So that's 4 o'clock, Spice Up Your Latke game. On Tuesday at 7 p.m., we have the Jewish Book Festival with author Lenitra Berger discussing her book Irma Stern and the Racial Paradox of South African Modern Art. And at 7:30, the PJT Social Hall, deck the halls with lots of latkes. Join us for a candle lighting followed by a sharing of memories and realities of being a Jewish kid at this time of year. We encourage all ages to join in the discussion. There are 2 pages of announcements tonight because on Wednesday, December the 16th, which is the 7th night of Hanukkah, there will be a giant menorah lighting with Cantor Ruth in downtown Sierra Madre. Masks and social distancing are required, and if you prefer to stay safer at home, the event will be live streamed to PJTC's Facebook page. And so Cantor Ruth will be lighting a giant menorah in downtown Sierra Madre, and you will be able to watch it from the comfort and warmth of your own home. And also during the day, if you have little ones, you can head to the Sierra Madre Memorial Park for a book walk. We've sponsored a viewing of A Hat for Mrs. Goldman. And then that's at 5:30. At 7:30, Sisterhood is having a Hanukkah-themed Rosh Chodesh. And on the final night of Hanukkah, Thursday, December 17th, from 6 to 7:30 p.m., we are having an outdoor community candle lighting and Hanukkah sing-along at PJTC. And so what you can do is you bring your Hanukkah and you can light it, and we're setting everything up super safely distanced on tables outside. You can light your own Hanukkah, your own Hanukkah, or if you prefer, we're having a drive-through. So you drive through the loop of our parking lot. You can see all the great lights that have been lit. You can hear Cantor Ruth sing. You can watch me wave, and at the end, the Hanukkah mascot here. At the end, PJTC's own men's club is going to be safely distributing sufganiyot. So everybody can grab a jelly donut on the way out. Mask required at all times for attendees. We have ongoing stuff, Kadima and USY Book Club on Sundays, meditation on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, Pirkei Avot on Wednesdays, Exploring Your Life Through Torah with Rabbi Jason Mann on Thursdays. There's one more thing that I said I would bring up tonight, and that is, let's see. So I'm not gonna ask you for money on Shabbat because that's a sore. But I will tell you about the Jewish value of tzedakah, because that's something that we believe very strongly in. And one thing that you will probably hear much more about soon is we are holding an end-of-year fund drive. And we've had what I'm really excited about is we've had some generous folks who've come together to create a matching fund. So, whether you're donating same as last year, or whether you are donating for the first time or changing the amount that you donate this year, just know that whatever you're able, whatever your heart moves you to give PJTC will be at least doubled during this special time between now and the end of the year. So if you've been thinking about ways to meet your tzedakah goals this year, if you think about PJTC, it goes twice as far. So stay tuned for those things coming out. We've had all sorts of wonderful programs throughout the year to help keep people stay connected in this dark time, in this different time. And this helps us keep those things going and continue to innovate with them immeasurably for as long as we need to until we can see each other's faces again. So if that moves you to give to PJTC, just know that this is the time of year where that is doubled. So stay tuned for that. And that's all my announcements for this evening. I'm just really excited you've joined us here for this Shabbat and Hanukkah. And I'll ask you to stand if you will, because it sounds better if you're standing while you're singing, and you are going to be singing because we're going to sing our way out, and feel free to stick around for Kiddush.
So, you ready? You standing? Let's join together. Shalom Aleinu.
Odivo Shalom Aleinu. Odivo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Odivo Shalom Aleinu. Odivo Shalom Aleinu. Odivo Shalom Aleinu ve'al kulam. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Shalom. יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלאם שלום. סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלאם שלום.
חג שמח, Happy Hanukkah, Shabbat Shalom. I'll be right back.
Good Shabbos, everybody. If you want to join us for Kiddush, please feel free. If you have some challah where you are, if you want to break a latke with us, that's okay too. Of wine or juice or celebratory beverage of your choice. Have a little l'chaim or Big Red or Dr. Pepper, you do you.
Okay, we ready, Rabbi?
Ready when you are. Just glad to have you back.
Glad to be back. ויהי ערב ויהי בוקר יום השישי, ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויחל אלוהים היום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה. ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות. Together. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן.
Amen.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו, ושבת קודשו באהבה ורצון הנהי לנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת עם כל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה ורצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. לחיים.
All right, if you'd like to do a little hand washing along with us, please feel free. This is the time to do it, or I can just wash my hands and I'll be thinking about you while I do it, okay? Just trying not to get it on my computer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al netilat yadayim.
Amen. And we join together in Motzi. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tehavon. Chag Sameach, everyone. Shabbat Shalom, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
Happy Hanukkah, and thanks for being with us at PJTC.